So welcome to this live session. In this live, we'll be painting this realistic eye, and this is my reference photo. We'll start it from the scratch. That's from the beginning, from sketching to painting. So without wasting so much time, let's get into the sketch. I want to make sure my paintings are at the center. Okay, now let's start the sketch. I will start my sketch by outlining the eyes. I'm using a freehand sketch. You can use several methods for your sketch, whichever method is convenient for you. But for this, I'll be using a freehand sketch. I think this has gone to the top too much. The eye is a little bit slant, so I'm trying to make it look just that way. So next is outlining the pupil. Also, let's draw the little details of the eyes. I'm just trying to draw a guideline for the eyelashes. Yes, the eyelashes is in this pattern. And also trying to bring out the form and the lines around the eyes before we dive into the painting itself. Sorry, I made a mistake in my sketch initially, so some lines might be confusing here, but we are going to figure that out when we start painting. I'm painting on a canvas that is 10 inches by 12 inches. So in case you want to know how big my canvas is. However, there are some parts of these lashes that are not showing. Eyebrow that are not visible from the reference, so we are just going to freestyle that part. So inside the pupil we have another circle, a inner circle, the dark spots on the pupil, and we have an highlight, a very strong highlight that is also a circle there in the pupil. So it's quite easy and fast to sketch it out, but the major work is in the painting. And to paint a realistic object, there are so many things to consider. First of it is getting your colors right is one of the most important thing to note. Getting your tones right is one of the first thing you need to. No, I'm not going to be drawing the lashes now because I'm still going to paint around them. I'm just trying to create illustration of how the lashes is so that my drawing doesn't totally look out of place. So now that we're done with the sketch, it's time for us to start with the painting. So I'll be doing my painting starting with the acrylic paints. I use acrylic paint for my first layer because it dries fast, and it's always advisable to paint your image um, in at least 2 layers. That's what I do actually. I paint in at least 2 layers. So for my first layer, I use I don't know if you can see my palette. That's why I'm putting it on my sketch, so you can see how I mix the colors for the skin tone. The acrylic colors are just the um, base layer, so I'm not really gonna go deep into trying to get the colors right 100%, but at least just for the first layer, let it be close to what I need. So that's the concept. So I have red, yellow, blue, and white on my palette. I'll start by mixing out red and yellow to get a sort of orange color. And mind you, since we are painting a fair skin lady, so we are going to be using the light skin tone. So this is more like a peach. If you have watched any of my tutorial video, you understand that the skin tone is not a direct orange or a direct peach color. So after mixing something like this, we try to desaturate it with a blue, black, or green color. So you desaturate it further. This is because you don't want the skin to look too flashy or too unrealistic. And you have to be careful with the amount of blue you put. Like for instance, the blue I put into this now, I guess is too much. So it has affected the tonality of my color. It's not looking um, good enough for the skin that I want to mix. So if you have this challenge, all you have to do is to just add more blues and yellows, some red and yellows to your mixture to brighten it up a little, and white. So from this, I think we don't have enough of the red and yellow. You keep mixing till you get a satisfied skin tone. I think this skin tone is not bad for a base layer, so though we can still go further, can make our proper adjustments on our um, on our oil paints. So we can start with this as a base layer, since we are using acrylic as our base layer. So I'll start by painting out the dark shades, the dark parts. If you are not so good at creating, you are not so good at identifying where the dark tones is, you can you can you can actually outline it before you start. You can outline your tonal values, like use your pencils to create guidelines. Like for instance, I know that there is the dark tone ends somewhere here, or the mid tone ends somewhere here. So I can create that line to serve as a guideline. The tones here too, I can sketch them out so that I know where to stop my tones when I start applying them. But for me, is what I could figure out even without outlining them. So that's why I'm just laying it direct. So for the highlight, since this is just a base layer, I'll just mix my white with my mid-tone and try to blend it in. You can choose to use a bigger brush for bigger space, because from the nature of acrylic paints, it dries faster. So you might not really have to put yourself on so much pressure while doing the first layer, because it's just a base layer. But however, if you can achieve a smooth feel, is of a good advantage too. So I switch my brush to make sure my paints blends well and I'm able to cover more distance faster. So I'm just trying to create blocks, trying to put the tones where they belong. Sorry for the shake. So if you have any question about painting, you can use the comment section. Or if you have any challenge about painting, you can drop it in the comment section. I'll answer your questions once I get to see them. Yeah, the reason why I said once I get to see them is because I'm actually painting and I may not be so focused on the comment section. So that was a mistake, though I can see some. So basically what we're just doing with this base layer is to block the colors, try to create the tonalities, just put the highlight where it's meant to be, dark tones where it's meant to be. We're using acrylics for our first layer. So the second layer is where we tend to go into in-depth details. So let me try to mix another paint. I don't want to mix the acrylic paint too much because it gets to dry out. So I want to mix a different one that serves as the dark tone. So we're using the same set of colors. From the primary colors with black and white, you can mix any color you want. So you can get any tonal value you want. But provided you understand the difference in the shades of the primary colors, we have two different types of red, or should I say two families of red, and two different ones, different blues, two different yellow too. So and each of them has their own colors that they can mix properly. So our first layer is what we are trying to create. So gradually the ice is taking shape. This is a base layer for the eyebrow. So there's a mistake that some people or some artists, let me not use some people and also, should I say, upcoming artists, not really upcoming artists, but some people get to believe that the eyeball is white. That's actually not true because it's not pure white. So this part of the eyes is not white. So we'll get to that when we approach that stage. So that's one of the common mistakes some people make while drawing while drawing an eye. I made such mistake too when I was growing up, when I was learning how to draw. So it's uh it's not something new. So but I got to realize it over time when I started learning how to actually paint properly. So we have a lighter shade in here. This is still our first layer, so we are not going too deep in the details. We're just trying to create something to serve as a background for our oil paints. So now let's go into um, the color of the eyeball. From what I can see on my reference image, it's more like a um, light brown color. So not really deep brown, but light brown. And this brown has more of yellow. So it's just like mixing brown, yellow, black and white together to achieve that tone. So, and that's one of the things that makes up a realistic eye. That's part of the eye. It's very necessary. You have to paint it in the exact tone. I feel what else too is having too much green. So I need to bring in a little bit of red and more of yellow into this mixture. Then a lot of whites. So I think we can use this, though it's not the exact color. So we'll make proper correction when we are painting with our oil paints. However, there are tonalities too in this eyeball. That's what makes it realistic. So there's a light shade here. Don't mind me that I use my white direct. Since I have some colors on my brush, it's still going to blend in. So if you look at the reference, we have a very dark spot here. So you can use this shade for the dark spot. Mix a little bit of the brown with this dark shade here. So that's one of the things that helps the eye look solid and round too. Okay, I've already messing that up. So I had to wash my brush then, use the mid-tone color there to blend it properly. So I think we have some of that dark tone at this top too. Mm-hmm. Is having shape. I'm getting there. Mm. Let's paint this side of the eye before we move on to the iris. So from what I can see for that side of the eye, it's more like a pink color, but not too sharp pink. Pink is not too sharp. So that's it about that part of the iris. Let's create the base layer for the iris too. So for the iris, we have a blue iris and black at the center. So let's just create a flat blue, though there are details there. So let's, for this, since this is just a base layer, We can create flat colors there first. Before we go into the details in our second layer, and that will be with oil paints. You want to make sure that you are careful not to paint your black outside of the outlined parts. And for the blue, it's a kind of light blue. So I'll be mixing blue and white, blue acrylic and white acrylic for that tone. So the eye shape is coming out and the form. Just need the form for this base layer. We'll go into details in the second layer. Potato Dragons, thank you for the comments. Welcome to my live session. So one other thing is at the edge of this eye, we have black spots for shades. So it's not bad to create that now and just blend it in. So at the top corner here, we have more of dark shades, and this is very reasonable because the eyelashes are going to reflect. So we are done with the base layer. It's time to go into the real deal. But before we do that, let me put a white acrylic paint for the white part in the eyes. So that's all for the acrylic, and that's the first layer. So we're moving on to the second layer now. Mind you, the dimension of my reference, printed reference photo is is um is different from what I have as my canvas. So this is a little bit longer. That's why my drawing can is looking a little bit bigger. I needed to add some things to the top. So let's dive into the oil paints, and this is where the real work comes in. So for the oil paints, I would like us to take it a step at a time. So let's start with this part of the eyes. I think it's right, not right. Let's start with this part. Then we'll move out to the skin as the last layer. From here, we'll come back to this. So from our experience in mixing this part of the eyes, we with the acrylic paints, we got to realize that it's a mixture of white, brown, and yellow with black. So, but I think white, brown, and yellow is giving us the shade that we want already. We might decide to desaturate it further by adding a little bit of black to the mixture. Note, this eye part of the eyeball is not white, so don't ever paint it pure white, except you are drawing a cartoon. But if you are trying to create a realistic painting, it's not advisable to paint it pure white. Does our color match with what we have in our reference? Yes. So now at this point, we have to go into details. We have to be intentional about our color placements, and we have to blend it right. So in this part of the eyes, it's not just these colors that we have there. We also have some parts that has the pink-like colors, shades of pink, and all of that. So we have to carefully look at our reference and add those colors where necessary. If you are not good at identifying this color, it's okay. You can just start by practicing by checking into pictures, looking at it closely. You begin to understand it better. And if you are still not good at it for the start, don't worry. Just practice by using the three tonal value: mid-tone, highlight, and dark tone. And your work is going to be nice, provided you mix your colors right. So we have a part here that has a little bit of pink. This my pink is too bright. So I'm trying to add white so that it's not too obvious. You can see pink there, but it's not obvious. That's because that's blend into the mixture, so you cannot really notice. Don't worry, when we blend this part to purely, when we blend it totally, the pinks I'm trying to lay in would not really be obvious, but they are there actually. So there are parts that has the highlights here too, but not really strong highlights. So the pupil blends into this part. So I'm trying to create a blend then. So so after the application, try to blend. After the blend, I want to try to create the highlight again so that it can pop. So let's dive into the iris. So I'm using black. So we're going to create a base layer first before adding the details of this part of the eyes. And the details is just like when it's just like sun ray that goes in all the directions, in the 360 directions. So that's what it looks like. Okay, let's create some dark details around the eyes. So we have a little bit of brown around these black spots that blends into the black spot and the blue parts. I want to add burnt sienna to that side. So gradually we're getting into the details. So, from what I said about the height, it looks like when something converges into the center. So we have lines going this way from the top, from every side, converging to the center. So we are going to create an effect that follows through that pattern. So in order to create this effect, we'll be using our tiny liner brushes. So we use that to create those effects around there. The little details. We'll be using some lighter blue, brown, and blacks for all of these details. So let's start with a very light blue. So it just creates random lines, not really straight, but let us follow this pattern of something converging to the center. I'm not really following the details 100%. I just try to look at what goes on there and try to replicate it. So after the very light blue, you can use some browns. Feels like brown mixed with white. On majorly this part of the eyes. So that's what I could see. So now let's go into the deep blues. So we're trying to create details, in-depth details for the eyes. That's what makes the eyes realistic. So let's go into the deep blacks for the edges. I'm not going to use 100% black. I'll be mixing black with ultramarine blue and maybe with some grays too. So we have spots that has these details. So we'll try to create them too. It's just like, should I say, veins converging to the center of the eyes? So, yeah, before I forget, I need to blend this edge a little bit. Yeah, so for these sharp highlights here, I think it's preferable for us to do it when our painting is totally dry. But I'll still add it now. If it's sinking, we'll bring it back. So, welcome back. Sorry, I never knew the live ended initially. So we are back, and once I finish this part, because I don't want this video to be too long, once I finish this part, we're going to end it for today, and we'll be here tomorrow again to continue the painting. From what I can say, I think we need to add some dark tones to this side of the eyes. I'll do that before I move on. So let's finish this part and we'll continue tomorrow. So let's put the highlights. So thanks for joining the live session today. We'll continue same time tomorrow. I don't want this to be too long, so by Sunday or tomorrow, I guess we should be done with this. This is the reference image. Thank you so much for your time. Bye.